Hello, 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 hello. All right, awesome. Hello, Dr. Gamble. This is my 5-1 walkthrough. Um, I'm just gonna quickly go over everything that I did. This is my final project. I created like a little um, I guess I don't know what you'd call this, a little prairie, I guess, with 5 different objects. So I used the ground, obviously, as my first. There's a bush, a rock, and some flowers. All the rocks are different. So I guess to first talk about what I did, let me get my hand over here. Um, so regarding actual prefabs that I used, these are all prefabs right here. These bushes are all pretty much copy and paste of each other, as well as the flowers. Those are both prefabs. And then, so basically use the same exact one for them. Um, and then regarding the rocks are all different types of rocks. Um, So I did not use prefabs because I feel like you never really see different types of or the same exact type of rocks. Well, you might see same bushes or the same flowers. I feel like no rocks are always the exact same, so I felt like I kind of had to do that. Anywho, so just starting off what it was. I feel like a large majority of this lesson was just going over how to actually put all the stuff in here, which isn't much interest to like how you actually do that. But I basically went into the prefabs, selected a prefab, put one on here. As you can see, I have them all right here. And then from there, I took it. I added I added what do you call? I created a material color for each one of them. For a pink one, obviously for the flowers, a green one for the ground, another green one for the bushes, and then a gray one for the rock. And I basically dragged each of those components into here, and I selected a little scenery. Um, Another part of what I did was I like here. I'm gonna see if I can get a little closer in here to the ground. I basically layered everything differently. So some bushes are a little higher, some are a little deeper into the ground. Like those are a little really really close to the ground over there. While these are on top of the ground. But yeah. Um, Let me look what else there is to talk about for this lesson because honestly, I did this like a week and a half ago, so I don't have quite the best memory of what we did. Um, yeah, I guess it was just downloading prefabs. I will say that a large problem that I did have was the original downloading of the prefabs. As Luca, I think, had the same issue. When I downloaded the prefabs onto my thing, I was having trouble actually dragging them in like onto the actual Unity project. Um, let's see if I can pull this up. I want to go to Unity Hub to show you what I was having trouble with. So when I went to add right here, I have it now. So I have my these are like the prefabs I was doing. So these are like the prefabs I ended up getting in there. And so I was originally confused on how to actually get the prefabs into that little folder, I guess. And so basically I had to like basically find my Unity folder. It was very, very buried. Um, this is the folder, which it is. Why is it so small? This is the problems with Windows computers, isn't it? So basically my whole Unity folder for all that stuff is called Unity Game 1, which I was just looking up for Unity, which was the main problem. And yeah, and so I basically what I ended up having to do is I had to select the entire, um, what would you call them? I had to download all the prefabs from um, the Code.hs, and then I had to re-download them again into another folder. And so I kind of worked through with Luca, which eventually ended up not being a problem. But it did take a hefty amount of time, I will say, just due to the downloading speed. I realized what you were saying in class, it takes you a couple of minutes to download them, while I was taking me maybe, up to 5 minutes sometimes download time, which isn't that big of a deal, but it is just something to know in the future, or to problem solve in the future, and just figure out whether there are fixes to these, um, I guess, download speeds and Windows complications, I guess. All right, so I've just realized that these videos might be short just because of the lack of material that we actually covered within each of these, I guess, brief units. So I'm going to try to combine 5.1 and 5.2 into one YouTube video and get that over to you. Also zip file and put it on video. Alright, this is going to be the combined video with my 5.1. The last one was on scene building with prefabs. This one is on the game physics. This one might have a little bit more content for me to talk about, so I will go over that. Alrighty, let's full screen this puppy. Alright, okay, so the first thing we went over was the rigid body and colliders. Let me go through here again. I'm gonna echo it, but I did do this a while ago, so stick with me as I might have forgotten it. Alright. Okay, so the rigid body and collider, basically what this does is it's pretty much like the, I guess, gravity for the device. And so what we did here, or I guess I should start off with the two objects that I created. I created a blue plane. As you can see, I put the color component in there from my materials, and a pink sphere, which I also added for my color material. From there on out, I basically, the first thing I did was I added the rigid body. And basically what this rigid body thing does is it creates a gravity type thing. I don't want to play right now because actually I can just play just to show you that I finished the complete thing. But what the rigid body does is it drops the ball down and it allows it to basically have gravity to begin with, which I found interesting, or I found it interesting, was all these little things in here. These are things that we didn't really, I feel like, we did definitely had some of them, but we didn't have all of these within the Zany Slopes game. So messing around with all the math in particular was super interesting for me. So yeah, that was the first part. And then did we go to the straight coding right after that, or was that? No, that was last. So basically the next thing we did was we talked about the sphere collider, in addition the mesh collider. So basically what this did by adding this was it created this. And so basically when it hits the bottom, when it hits the planes, I guess, mesh renderer and mesh collider, the sphere collider causes it to bounce up, meaning that it's a physical property. So instead of just having it fall through like this, it causes it to bounce up there and treat this as another physical property as well as this. So these two interact like they're physical beings, which basically allows the pairing between the gravity and the rigid body and the colliders. From there on out, we started getting a little fancy. I basically coded this script. I have the directions pulled up on my other monitor. But wait, I don't like what that's saying. Let me open it again. Okay, so basically, wait, let me. I will do that to keep it safe. So basically, what this is it basically creates a script that allows for everything to work interchangeably. So if you just put in colliders and rigid bodies, that doesn't necessarily work. You need to actually create a script where that's actually going to be able to make the components and the certain things act on it. So obviously you got to create a class, create the area which your whole project is going to happen in. So the Boolean variables, bool, change color. As you can see right here in the script, change color is basically obviously changing the color. So I added that in there. That basically, within this down here, it allows me to change the color to whatever I want. Create an audio. Obviously, there was an audio provided by the prefabs that gives you collect cologne sound. It's like ba-dink. I don't know if that's a good interpretation of that. And then basically down here, this is all the complicated stuff. The destroy enemy game object, blah blah blah. This stuff is basically just designating the specific objects as enemy. So basically, when an enemy object hits, that's when the object switches color and/or the object bounces. So that's pretty much an oversimplified version of that, not having to get into the nitty-gritties of it. But obviously, if I just want to go over it a little more, if the if statements basically say that if I'm not sure the video cut off because I didn't have enough time to finish it. I accidentally pressed pause, but basically what I was saying is that the if statement basically told you whether something was going to happen or whether it wasn't going to happen. Um, and yeah, just some quick housekeeping. I'm going to submit this in a second with my compressed folders, which I have right here. In addition to that, I will begin to start 5.3 and 5.4 and get that to you as soon as possible. All right, thanks, Dr. Amel.